over, like, I don't know. He battling over, do I do nothing or do I rat this dude out? Like,
Right.
rather than, am I battling over doing something heroic or whatever? And how many times are we going to go through the arc of Eugene becoming a hero after being a coward?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And he's tortured right now. I mean, we'll get to it with Father Gabriel and all that. It's like enough already.
Right.
We get it.
We'll talk about it because it's just kind of a confusing. Where his character is kind of confusing, and maybe they want it that way, but I mean, we'll talk about it throughout the episode. So it starts off with Rick in the shipping container, and he says his offer still stands. And I still again also don't get the plan here. Like, his plan the whole time was to go there by himself. It's a pretty risky plan,
right?
Like, what if they
all
just
would have
were
to do
like,
is kill
boom,
him.
kill him, done.
Right. What if one of the foot soldiers got a little excited with their gun on accident and just flat out shot him? Why not?
He has no reason to have any confidence in the situation.
None.
And also,
in
why
fact,
keep
the last
audience?
time they betrayed him?
Yeah, exactly. Why keep the audience in the dark on whatever his plan is? Because the whole time we're like, okay, well, there's probably something. There's a reason he's so confident, right? Last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring his people were surrounding them, snipers on them. Seems like, nope, there wasn't anything. He had no reason to be confident.
100% Rick. Balls out Rick Grimes on his own, doing what Rick does best.
Taking his balls out?
Well, using his masculinity to sway Jadis.
I don't know if you realize, but Jadis is jonesing for Rick. I don't know if the show's made that clear yet.
Yeah, they're very subtle that she wants to make a nude sculpture of him and also bang him. And you know what, again, like when that whole scene too, like they had to have another weird walker, like which was very reminiscent. Like Rick this is the second time he's bested one of their creations.
And the last one was better.
In order to get his freedom.
The last one was good. But look at all the mutants that she's hanging out with. I can understand why she wants to bang Rick.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Anyway, so then she takes a photo of him. Then she says to turn, and he listens.
Whatever. Well, what else is he supposed to do?
Not turn and be like, no, I'm not going to turn for you to take a picture of me. Why are you taking pictures of me, bro?
Yeah, with that old-timey ass camera.
So then Eugene battles with... then we have they put him back in, and then he says, why are you taking the pictures? And they're like, to sculpt you after. And he's like, after what? And they're like, after. And then we get the opening credits because that's such a dramatic moment. Eugene battles with what to do about what he found out about Dwight. And he has a list that he's making, it seems like. And he says, what I know I don't know, and what I am unaware of wholly. I think one of those would have been a good episode title. Or what I know I don't know, I think would have been a good episode title.
Right, because him battling with whether or not to rat out Dwight is interesting.
It was the theme of the episode too, right?
Yeah.
So
right,
makes sense.
Of course.
Another good episode. Or there's another good idea I have for an episode. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, the Jadis stuff was so small that in order to sort of honor her scenes with an episode title just doesn't really make a lot of sense. I wonder
what she looks like in real life.
Yeah, she's got a Mila Jovovich vibe going on. She probably doesn't look too different than she looks on the show.
I'm sure she's
got no makeup on.
And I'm sure she carries her face completely.
I remember. Probably.
By the way, forgot to give a shout out to the fact that you came on the Watch and Talk last week to review Coco.
I sure did.
And I loved it. To listen to that, go to thewatchandtalk.com/Coco. And that's the episode we listen to. Or subscribe to the Watch and Talk on your podcast app and listen to Dan and I talk about the movie Coco. It's a little different than
it was good.
The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm. Actually, there's Walking Dead.
There's a lot of Walking Dead in that movie, actually. So kind of similar. Right. So it actually is perfect for us. Anyway, so he calls. He has a little meeting with Dwight, and he tells Dwight he knows, which I think is a dangerous play.
Oh, totally dangerous.
He's put Dwight in a situation of, do I trust him with my life? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he sits him down and he says, hey, the Saviors are done. Negan's finished. It's over. All you have to do is stand down. Do nothing. Let it play out. Okay, so we've gotten
which is good advice. And that's also good advice for Dwight, which he should have listened to as well. Just let it play out. Trust Rick.
So so we've gotten feedback throughout the years or whatever about, or the weeks or the months, that people aren't sure where Dwight's loyalty really is. Do you think that's at all in question anymore?
No, 100% not. It's definitely, I don't know if he's 100%. He's definitely what?
Turning against Negan.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
But I would say I don't think he has 100% allegiance to Dwight either. I think if anything, it's Sherry, his wife, that he loves and wishes he could. I'm sorry, Daryl. Dwight doesn't also have 100% allegiance to Daryl either. It's not like after this is all said and done, I think Dwight doesn't expect he's going to join Alexandria and be like, on student council over there, and be the vice president. I think he's probably going to leave and run and try to escape as fast as he can. Well, let me ask you a question.
When he talked to him later, what did he say when he talked about, when they talked on the roof? And this is jumping ahead a little bit, but what did he say about what's going to happen with Negan, or what their plan is with Negan? He said that, because he was like, I'm going to save all these people's lives if I get these away and save the sanctuary. Remember what Dwight said about Negan? Basically saying only Negan has to go?
Right.
So at that point...
So you think Dwight would stay and lead the Saviors on his own?
I mean, I'm just curious if that's what you think.
I don't know. I think no matter what, Dwight is leaving. He's either sabotaging and leaving or just leaving.
So you think if Negan was dead, he would still feel like he has to leave?
Yes. I still think he would. I think he'd feel like he's gone too far. He wants his wife back, and maybe he would go back on the road to try to find her and feel like okay with himself that he made things right. And he could, mosey on. So
anyway, yeah. Now that he's discussed this with Dwight, I think that Dwight's right. The smart play is to let it play out. If Negan wins, he's fine. If Rick wins, then he's fine after this conversation because he shut his mouth after he knew the truth. And he says
totally. I'm sorry. There was a delay. I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
Please go on. I was going to say, this isn't like Eugene. Eugene he makes pros and con lists. You would think that he would see that the right play is to chill and to, he's all about saving his own skin, and saving his own skin means just chilling. But I think very un-Eugene-like, he put all of his chips in Negan's corner.
We're not getting why he's choosing Negan. The pros and cons from our perspective, it seems like, especially with them surrounded by walkers the way they are, it seems like the smart play is Rick's side. And they're people that he can trust and knows, and they didn't bash Abraham and Glenn's freaking heads in front of him. How can he sit there and want to hang out with Negan after he bashed in everybody's heads in front of him? It is, we're not, because there Negan, can be reasons. There can be reasons he's doing this. It's just not doing a good enough job of showing why he's choosing Negan. If you ask me, I get it. He's afraid, and that he thinks that Negan can't die. But why does he think that? Why does he think that Negan can't get killed? We don't know. We weren't shown him bullets bouncing off him or anything like that. He just thinks that, and Negan said it also. Negan apparently thinks that also.
I can tell you why. Because I had a guy I worked with, and he started working with me when he was 16, and he was always the little kid. And even though he was 20, 21, and he was a man, it didn't matter. He was always the little kid. And then he left and went to a new job, and he could start his own new thing. So I think Eugene is able to come to the Saviors, and he has a whole new identity. He's the new kid in town. He's a right-hand man. He's a genius. He has video games, and he's so smart. But with Alexandrians, he's sort of an idiot and a bumbling doofus. He can't fight. Rosita thinks he's a bitch. And Abraham, knows that his entire thing is a lie. They refer to him as a doctor, the Saviors, half the time. So I think he's a little drunk with power too. And they don't explicitly say that, but I think maybe he thinks he ran his course with the Alexandrians. I wish they were
showing this, right? I think that's a great angle to take. I mean, it's like sucks because we're like, why are you doing this when you saw him bashing your friends, traveling companions, your friends' heads
Right.
in front of you? Like, I get Abraham,
Right.
I get
Traveling
Abraham,
companions, not friends.
like I get
Yeah.
Abraham, like he was just playing Abraham anyway for most of the time, but Glenn, to see Glenn
Sure.
get bashed, how, like
Right.
in front of Maggie too? I don't know how
Mhm.
how teaming up with the dude that did that feels like it's in his self interest, but anyway,
Sure.
he'll keep it a secret. He says as long as it caused no harm to anyone inside the walls. And then he goes and chats with Gabriel, and the doctor says he has a day or two max to watch over him, and he's like, I don't want to watch this dude. And he's like, do you want him to die? And he's like, no. And he's like, all right, well, good enough. Because he says, you're a friend? No, traveling companion, like we said earlier.
Mhm.
I think traveling companion would have been
Again,
the best
which is just
episode.
wild. That's another one. That's an excellent one. And real quick, the one other thing I was going to say is I still didn't understand at that point with Dwight why Eugene wouldn't just rat him out immediately. Just immediately rat him out. Not
I
even
guess he's
go to
dealing
him. Just
with-
go right to
he's dealing
Negan.
with
Why
what-
even tell Dwight?
I guess he's just dealing
Right,
with
he's-
whether or not.
Torn. Right.
Real quick, I just want to test to see if it's a delay again. I'm gonna take a timestamp.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do the same thing and
Okay.
just say hi at the end of the sentence, and I just want you to say hi back after. Hi.
Hi.
All right, that's not that bad. All right. So like I said earlier, Eugene just speaks purely in riddles in this episode, and I know it's a style, but Lord, and he's very hesitant to help Father Gabriel, and he seems to explain himself with a spiel about self-preservation being.
Right.
And like I get it, but really choosing Negan's side after watching him Bennett. I know I said it earlier, but watching him choose his side after watching him bash Glenn and Abraham's head in, and just, I don't know why he's not struggling with this more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling with going back and helping his friends, but not struggling with helping Negan. Like why? I feel like I wish it was showing that, like him when he's sitting there thinking about helping Negan, all of a sudden thinks about, Glenn saying, Maggie, I'll find you. His eye popped out. Anyway, so
Right.
he also says right can be good for some people. What's right can be right for other people, but bad for others, which is a fair point.
Sure.
But also at this point, him not narking out Dwight kind of makes me think that he wants Negan dead.
You think so? Yeah, maybe in the back of his mind.
Point, right? Yeah.
Right.
I
would agree with that,
Morgan by sniper scope in the sanctuary, and we just see him kind of checking things out, and he's responding by radio. So that comes into play later in the episode.
I was surprised to see Morgan as a sniper. Were you?
I didn't even think
Just
about it.
out of nowhere. I mean, I know. I thought he left. I thought he was so angry. Maybe he was gone, and especially with the Fear of the Walking Dead shit. And I wasn't sure. And then he just popped up as one of the snipers.
Yeah, no. Him being on Fear of the Walking Dead is going to take place in between when he.
Sure.
Yeah, when he met with him in season 3 or whatever, I believe, him yelling and freaking out and going clear, and
Clear, right?
or whatever that case, and when he runs into him again, season 6. So, so Eugene made a deal with one of Negan's wives to fix her boombox for some wine,
Right.
and he got distracted by everything that's happening, and he says
Sure.
that he's like, hey, do you think I can get that wine actually? Because he's having trouble sleeping because he's having. And then she guilts him even more about not helping them overthrow Negan. That changes, but you were too much of a wimp. And he just seems pretty torn. And it's not it's like, are we sure that? I guess he's like, before he used to say I'm a coward, yeah, whatever. And now he's just saying I'm a self-preservationist. So he's not even saying I'm doing this because I'm afraid. He's just saying he's
Yeah. It's back and forth the entire episode. Like you said, Eugene deserved to have the show named after him, not Jadis. And Yeah, it was like will he or won't he, back and forth, back and forth. What's going on? They really tried to get us in his mindset. They did a pretty good job of that.
Man, I love this shot of Negan from behind, holding Lucille on his shoulder with Eugene coming up from behind and sitting down. It looks really great. And that
I love too that he's always he's like at a conference table, like he's a businessman now, having a business meeting with one of his associates. He's, not a bloodthirsty psychopath, but
and it's not even a nice area.
Really
He's not living in the lap of luxury either. He's living in a grungy area, and he doesn't have like this super extravagant conference table. And actually, if you look at the front of the table where he is, it has all these dent marks from him banging Lucille on the table.
Mm-hmm. And no bagels. I didn't see any bagels. No coffee set up. Like a pretty shitty meeting room.
There were bagels.
Were there bagels?
I think there were bagels.
Oh, just no cream cheese. No schmear.
Correct. No schmear.
Okay.
No Einstein bagels schmear. If you guys think that I don't know if we saw bagels or not. Tweet us in at Dead Inside Show and let us know if there were bagels or not, because we're not 100%. So we'll correct that on the next episode. Sound good?
Were there bagels in the graphic novel, Dylan? Oh, no spoilers. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
And then he had that. What they did have off the side was the what's it called? The Trader Joe's everything but the bagel season.
Oh yeah, you love that. We're still going with this bit. Okay. Go ahead.
We're still going with this bit. That's what you.
I gave you that.
Your wife and you gave me when I visited you, and I used it a couple times.
Seasoning.
Still sits there. I don't really use it that often. Don't make eggs enough.
Okay.
If you guys think I should be making eggs more, tweet us in at Dead Inside Show and let us know. All right. So, where were we? Let me find the bagel note on the thing. So he says if you don't get this solved, a lot of people are going to die. Not me, of course. I'm living no matter what. I'm too good at this shit.
Yeah. Cockroach style.
And he pressures him to get the spy thing solved, and he gives his hand and purposely confuses him on whether he wanted to shake his hand or kiss it.
Totally. Like he had it slightly bent, and when that did happen, I thought to myself, I don't think I've ever seen Negan give any sort of affection, shake hands, bro hug to anyone else on the show. This was the first time.
Right. And he says that. He says that he doesn't typically shake hands because mutual showing respect. So.
Right.
But it's just so funny that he messes with him, though, about the hand kiss or whatever. He wanted to play head.
Which isn't, I mean, the thing is, Eugene is so smart, but he's just socially so bad that a guy like Negan knows exactly what he's doing. And he's just walking right over him, which is almost surprising to me that Negan can't smell his bullshit. But the other thing with Eugene is he's almost like high functioning, mentally handicapped in a way. And so you really do never know. Like he's almost as unexpected and unexplainable as Negan in a weird way. You really don't know what he's going to do.
Let's talk about Dwight, Rosita, Michonne, Tara, and Morgan.
Okay.
So they plan to send a garbage truck into the side of the sanctuary and it be a savior buffet, which is going against Rick's plan that dealt with everybody.
Right, and there's also this very loose notion of, the workers are going to escape out of a different door and a different way. Yeah, it's kind of confusing.
I love Rosita backing up Rick, and Michonne not doing it is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's true.
But
but then again, Rick's her man. I mean, she's got to sort of support Rick when it comes to this, and I think she was in a weird headspace. She saw it; it didn't feel right. And now Dwight is the guy who's sort of in this insane, like, remember there's a couple scenes
first of
where
all,
Rick.
Daryl.
I'm sorry. What the frick?
But second of all, what I'm saying is that Rosita initially was backing up Rick, and Michonne was like, no, I'm going to go along with it. I know she did eventually get out of it, but she didn't do it because she was backing up Rick. She was doing it because she felt like it wasn't the right thing to do. Because it's not risking their lives.
And for a person like her, who has been on the show as this sort of, one-dimensional, kill, I'm going to kill Negan, how dare you, like, all anger. Like, her entire basis on this show has been anger since day one. This, like, sexy, simmering anger with her ponytail and her military hat. And she was so much softer. And like she said, I hate that I had to wait to see Sasha in a coffin in order for me to know what to do. But she's changed. I thought that was pretty cool. that they made her, a little more multi-dimensional than she has been.
They have Rosita right now looking pretty incredible. Am I right?
Oh, she's gorgeous. Right? She's always been beautiful on the show.
She's number 1 right now on the show.
Maggie, I like pregnant gals, but she's not showing yet, so
right.
I would say Rosita.
She shows, you're going with Rosita. And then once the 3rd trimester comes around, Dan, you're just gonna
watch out.
The P's gonna get W. Anyway, So Michonne decides to stay at the last, first she decides to stay because I love her. She's saying how Tara's like,
she's torn.
I'm doing this with or without you. I'm not gonna let that happen again. And she's like, all right, then it's without me. Boom.
And in your face.
This episode is all about decisions. That'd be another good episode titled Decisions.
Right.
No, Traveling Companion is just the perfect episode title for that. Or Traveling Companions.
I totally agree. Completely agree.
I don't know. We've never had this episode title conversation until we've just been getting these bad episode titles. So I think that we should just come up with episode titles every week now.
Sure.
That'll be our new segment. Except I'm not going to make segment music out of it.
That's okay. And by the way, Tara, she's now taken over the super angry, one thought, one track mind Terminator from Rosita.
Playing this. They can't just not have that.
But it seems so out of character for her. She's always been the soft, hard comedy. I know her girlfriend got killed, but still, I mean, Maggie, you could still have a little subtlety, I think, in your anger, and it's going to end up getting her killed or someone else.
So, Michonne, like I said, changed her mind when they actually do it. She's like, it's not worth risking us, and Daryl says it is for him. So it shows that Daryl's life is not the most important.
Mm-hmm. Man,
Daryl doesn't seem like someone I'd ever want to hang out with or anything. Like, is he even a fan favorite anymore?
He is also becoming kind of a caricature of himself. I think during Slabtown and that whole arc, he was tough and tender and
that was the last. Right. I've loved him. Was Slabtown?
Now what?
It was him and Beth. Him trying to save
and
Beth.
He was great.
So good in that.
Mm-hmm. Remember, they were like living in a house and they drank a bottle of whiskey, and there was just so much more heart there.
And remember him crying when she died, and shooting that officer right in the head right after she shot her. Shot her on accident.
Right.
Beth had stabbed her, and then she fired back, which was Beth's bad. And then Daryl sees it and just like, boom. And that was the last that I've loved Daryl. Ever since then, he's just been this gruff, mean dude that doesn't even seem to think rationally. He just thinks all in whatever, right? I even don't want, like, him saying he's going to kill Dwight.
Right.
I don't want you to kill Dwight.
Silly.
I like Dwight. Like,
he's done quite a bit for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dwight is layered and interesting and textured, and he has pain because of Sherry and what he did. And you think that he gave his wife to Negan to bang in order to save them both, but that ended up ruining them anyways. And so all of that makes us, Dwight is way more interesting right now than Daryl.
What would you do in that scenario?
Oh, I would probably just run or die. I would rather not live than see my wife tortured and raped, and I couldn't handle it. And look what it did to them. It tore them apart.
So they're broken up now? So that's like well, what if, never mind. This is not a good conversation to have. All right. So, like me sitting there offering another offer. Well, maybe the torture and rape is good if, and I was like, this is not a stance to take. Okay. So while rummaging for parts to fix the boombox, Eugene thinks about Sasha while opening up the coffin that she was in. And he's recovering her iPod that she was listening to.
I think he was fixing the boombox and saw the little speaker and thought, let me hook this up. We'll use speaker. Again, it's kind of funny that we've got music or speakers being the other antidote to the walkers, which the other people thought. So fine, he's going to use his little toy airplane, which reminded me of, remember that movie Toy Soldiers with Sean Astin? Remember that movie?
You mean Small Soldiers?
No, Toy
Oh.
Soldiers, where it's like a prep school that gets taken over
Wasn't
by
Kurt Russell in there or
terrorists.
something?
I don't think so, but it's a great movie. Really good movie.
Oh yeah, so it came out in 1991. Directed.
There's an airplane in it. There's a toy airplane,
Directed
and it's
by
a
Daniel
huge
Petrie
point.
Jr. When
Okay.
terrorists seized control of a boarding school, a group of troublemaking boys decided to resist them. And Daniel Petrie Jr. went on to direct Turner and Hooch. Or he
Okay,
originally
listen.
directed Turner and Hooch.
There's a goddamn remote control airplane in that movie, and it made me think of that. But listen, he found the
In the
speaker,
Army
which
Now
made
with
him
Pauly
remember.
Shore. Remember that movie?
Of course.
Hey.
Is that so? You're to walk. I'm gonna kill you.
Good.
So there's a speaker. It reminded him like, oh shit, I can use the iPod, which I don't think they did a very good job of showing that. Maybe he contracted up some sort of external speaker to connect to the iPod, because everyone knows iPods don't have speakers. But whatever.
That iPod
nitpick
right
here.
there would have been too heavy for that glider. The older, maybe a current iPhone I think would be able to, but those iPods from 2009, 2008, I think they would sink that.
I don't even want to talk about that airplane, where it even came from, how he's got it, how it's working. But he went down there to get the iPod. Well, just the whole thing, like the shenanigans.
You said how it working. It sounded like you said how twerking.
I did say twerking, but I don't even. I think that, again, he goes down there, he sees the coffin, and which somebody would have taken that iPod immediately. They wouldn't have thrown it in the coffin in their little fun storage room down there. And again,
say that.
He's torn.
They'd be like an iPod. They'd be like, oh, we'll just throw this in the storage room. They'd be like, oh, an iPod. This is huge. This is very valuable. This is probably worth a lot of resources right now. Yeah, I'm going to take this. It's an iPod.
Right. Completely. It's huge.
So anyway, I just. So he uses the glider and to play music to get the walkers from the sanctuary. But before setting it off, Dwight shows up and he says, don't turn around. He says to back away from it. And he says they can get rid of just Negan. And then he says, if he, lures them away, Negan will kill Rosita and Daryl and Rick. And he's like, former traveling companions, nothing more.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing more. Good episode, Tom. He does it after, and he figures out that he'll take his chances on survival in this situation. I think that in this exact situation, I can understand why he chose to set the glider off or the airplane or whatever, rather than Dwight shooting him. But I don't know why he's so confident Dwight's not going to shoot him when Dwight's one chance of survival is in Eugene's hands. I also like that he references that he chomped his chode.
Right. Yes, that was funny. I forget about that. It's what you said. I agree. It's sort of an uncharacteristically brave moment, Eugene, where again, like, is he good? Is he bad?